All right, everybody, welcome back. This is game number 3 between EG and Team Dignitas for Killing Spree. The King of the Hill match is on the line right now. I am Maut. With me tonight is NYJohn. How are you today?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I am doing very well. This is going to be the last cast of the day for me and for John. We've had a long day. We did the Dota Hut stuff earlier on, but now we have an excellent game coming ahead. Team Dignitas lost, of course, on the back of NY2000's Tiny, unfortunately. EG had the same pushing strategy they went with in the first game, and this time they succeeded rather than letting Dignitas come back. So this is going to be game number 3. On the Radiant side is Dignitas, on the Dire side, EG. And we're going to see Magnus as well as Batrider banned out right now. And I think I want to give a little bit of credit to the Darkseer played by Jo in that previous game, because I think that sort of turned the tide a little bit, allowing them to focus down Aoi just a little bit more, doing a little bit more damage as well. On top of the fact that, I mean, obviously Fear was already very farmed. The Roar was good because it goes through that magic immunity that he had with that BKB. So I think a Darkseer ban might be necessary in this game. At least that's my opinion on it.
It's really tough to adjust your bans in the current state of the game just because you take away Darkseer and give up, whether it be Undying or maybe even Keeper Light, Nyx Assassin. It's a lot of heroes right now that you don't really have to want to cope with on a game-by-game basis. And a lot of teams just want to stick with a basic 4 because they can prepare for that. But here we go. There's the first adjustment. It's going to be Dignitas taking out Beastmaster. And certainly warranted. Demon had a good start to the first game, fell off later because of Rubik's second game, though. He had a fantastic matchup throughout the entirety of the game, and probably is the sole reason why NY2000 couldn't get anything going in team fights and really wiped the whole EG squad.
Absolutely. I mean, he just played so well in that second game. Of course, the Roar was stolen in the first game by Universe when they played with that Rubik. But I think this is an excellent ban out, although it does bring a lot more to the table for EG to pick up with their first 2 picks. Still, though, Dignitas feels that it's necessary to ban out that Beastmaster, and I wholeheartedly agree with them. I think that is an excellent ban there, an excellent change of pace for them. Koda will be the next ban here from EG, so Team Dignitas, they can pick up the Darkseer once again. Will they do so is a different question. That leaves the Undying as well as the Nyx Assassin, as well as a whole lot of other things available. They do go down that route once more. Darkseer will be played probably by Way Too Sexy again, and this time EG now probably going to go for Nyx Assassin, but I'm not 100% sure. They could also pick up that Chen. We'll have to wait and see what they decide to go for here.
Yeah, EG have been very steadfast in their picks as of late, picking up that Chen routinely every game. They haven't made any big differences in their strategies between the first 2 games we've seen thus far today. So I'm curious to see if this is going to be the adjustment, because now with 2 top-of-the-line heroes available in Nyx Assassin as well as the Undying, which you just mentioned, they can really try and shake things up a little bit, try and make something happen. And they're actually going to start off by picking up the Undying with the first of the 2 selections, and then go for the Chen. So nothing too far from the usual.
They're not going away from what they like, and I wouldn't be surprised to see Luna picked up here from EG, assuming Dignitas doesn't take it. I mean, I know NY2000 could play a mean Luna, but at the same time, I think they would just go for another hero in that strategy. So I think that EG feels very comfortable with their picks they've been given. They'll rotate one hero differently pretty much each game, and it looks like this time around it's going to be the Undying. Last game it was the Darkseer and the Rubik as well. But we will see Dignitas pick up the Luna, surprisingly enough, and then a Tinker pick up. So this is very strange, I have to say, from Dignitas. This is not at all what I was expecting. I mean, I talked about maybe picking up the Luna, but I didn't think they were going to go for it.
Tinker, a very strong hero, oftentimes forgotten just because he isn't used as often since the most recent of the patch chains that have come out. But Luna, definitely, you're right. It's a little bit of a different pick for them. They did use it one of the games yesterday, I want to say, and we have seen them used in the past. Of course, AUI capable of playing any carry at the top level. And this may throw a little wrench in Evil Genius's plans. I mean, if you can't beat it, pick it.
Absolutely, and we did see that game with Luna played by NY2000 once again yesterday, but I mean, the same thing can be said about Fear that can be said about NY2000. I think Fear can play any top carry, I mean, or any carry really at all, and play it extraordinarily well. We've seen it before. I remember back in ECAL when that still existed. EG was playing against a team called Dusa, and I can't ever forget it because they had Demon playing Clockwork as well when he was still really bad. But they had Fear up on a Spectre, and it was just the weirdest game that I've ever seen in my life. And they somehow came back from a deficit, and they were able to win on the back of Fear and that Spectre. But Shadow Demon's going to be picked up here from the side of EG. which is interesting. I'm surprised that they would pick up another support here, considering they already have the Undying and the Chen. But knowing how they've laid things in the past, I'm not 100% surprised. Then again, we're going to get into the next ban phase, and so we'll see what changes both teams are going to make to the bans here.
Yeah, and Shadow Demon once again open up the opportunity for a really strong aggressive tri-lane or a passive tri-lane, whichever way they want to go with it. I mean, since they have the Chen, you wouldn't expect them to go that path, but EG has been known to have some unique strategies, maybe sack a lane or two in the past. As we saw, Darkseer now rotate up to that off lane for quite some time. They let Jail get his farm going in the jungle. I'm not trying to forecast anything out of the line and crazy here, but Shadow Demon and Undying, if you look at it like a standard point of view, they have too many supports on the roster right now, so something's got to be a little bit different.
I think so. I agree completely. And that's what I was talking about. I think that with all these supports here, it just doesn't make 100% sense. Of course, I'm sure once we get into the game, they're going to make a fool of us and make it look really good and easy and make it work well. But we will have to wait and see, of course. Dignitas will have the first pick up in the next pick phase here, but the bans are still going. Lone Druid already for Dignitas, and Rubik again for Evil Genius is a good ban there because in the first two games, he has been pretty important. If you remember Universe and the Roars, of course, and then in the last game too, Beat is stealing a lot of great spells there. You think about the wards he stole at the end of the game, which pretty much assured that those tier 3s and the Raxes were going to fall. So I'd have to say that that's a good ban there. I'm not going to read too much into it, obviously, but now support's still getting banned from the side of EG because obviously Dignitas does need it. I mean, they've got their side laner, they've got their mid laner if they send Tinker there, and they've got their carry. So Dignitas really, usually they draft a little bit more differently where they don't pick everything up, they don't pick their entire tri-lane, or, you know, they pick up certain aspects first. So we'll have to see what they decide to go for in terms of support. The Lifestealer ban coming out from Dignitas, I'd say that's a good ban. I think Sven could be picked up here by Fear, but I'm not 100% sure if he's still very comfortable playing with it. You think about back at DreamHack and how he played with Sven. It was really well, but obviously that was in conjunction with heroes like Magnus. So what do you think he's going to go in terms of a carry? I don't really think I have anything that I can see coming right now.
Well, I think the Lifestealer is a really good option for him, so it's a great ban from Dignitas to take out of the pool, as is Lone Druid. I mean, we already mentioned that it's a little bit of an unorthodox look coming out from EG, so this could be a pocket strategy. I wouldn't be too surprised if they want to go something really aggressive like a Juggernaut. That will give them additional options for pushing with that healing ward on the back end of whatever they want to throw at them. That could definitely be in play. They can also go for the Gyrocopter, which is still in the pool as of right now, but the Dignitas have one more ban, so we'll see what they want to get rid of before EG are able to make their selection. As for Team Dignitas, they're just looking for a couple supports. So that's why we see EG taking out heroes like Disruptor, who is a very powerful hero, as well as Rubik. And once again, we might go through this whole set without seeing a Brewmaster. And a Brewmaster is such a strong hero. To not see him, it certainly is surprising.
You really like that Brewmaster, huh?
Yeah, and he was getting so much play for such a long period of time. And maybe his time has just passed. I mean, the Asian scene loves him. But in North America and Europe, he's just played down a little bit.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I love Brewmaster. I think he's a great hero, and I think he requires a little bit of skill as well. He could just do so much damage in the mid game, the early game. He'd be very frustrating with his ult. He'd be like, oh, I'm going to kill that Brewmaster. Oh, wait, no, you're not. He's going to ult and just run away. So I think that he can be certainly frustrating for a team to play against, and he sort of throws a little screw into a team fight that makes it a little bit easier for people that have Brewmaster, and it just makes it a little bit more difficult for people playing against it. Will we see it? I'm not 100% sure because, well, they can use him as a mid laner and sort of that semi-carry, but later on into the game, he sort of falls off, I'd say, against Luna. I mean, his ultimate's not going to provide that much damage, and his damage from his own right clicks are good, but at the same time, it's not like he can out-carry a Luna, at least I don't think. I mean, I think he's a good mid-game pickup if they decide to go down that route, but I'm not sure if they will. Dignitas, of course, they've got their mid laner set up. They've got Luna set up. I don't know where they would send that Brewmaster, but we'll see. I mean, maybe another crazy hero can come out, like a Huskar. I don't know. I want to see Huskar, so...
The stretch. And I'm curious to see
Yeah.
if Dignitas want to opt for maybe a jungler around this point. It will be tough because they don't really know what's coming at them. It's a very ambiguous look from EG, and they're going to pick up the Lina first, which safe selection for them. And then maybe with one more hero on the board for EG, they'll be able to determine whether or not they can fit a jungler in safely. But EG with their fourth pick, you have to assume they're going to pick up a hard carry or a solo here. I mean, that's all there really is for them to do.
Absolutely. I mean, they really need one at this point. They can't really afford any more supports. I would absolutely throw my hands up if I saw them pick another support. I just wouldn't know what to do, and I'm not really
10
sure what they're going to
seconds
go for
remaining.
here. I mean, they've got Chen, they've got Undying, they've got Shadow Demon. Throw Shadow
5
Demon and Undying in
seconds
a lane
remaining.
together with a carry, but then where does the Chen go is the question. So maybe I don't know. You can maybe
Reserve
send the
time.
Undying into a side lane, perhaps. Maybe a safe side lane. Use Shadow Demon and then Chen in the jungle with another hero. With the way EG's been running lanes recently, I'm not going to say anything before we actually see it because you think about that first game and the dual lane that happened, and then we were questioning what they were going to do in the second game. They have a lot of opportunities and they have a lot of variety to really go with what they feel comfortable with, but we really don't know what that is. At least I don't. I mean, you might have an idea. 37 seconds left on reserve time here for EG. They will pick up something soon. They still are discussing it, obviously. They're taking their time, which means they don't really know just yet. They don't have that plan that I think they had in the first or second game there with, the heroes they picked up. And because that Luna was picked up, I think that, like you said, it sort of maybe confused Evil Geniuses a little bit here.
Yeah, and another thing to note for Dignitas as
Oh,
well is
what?
that
Come on. Are you kidding me?
Radiant
Nyx Assassin
win.
has not been banned and not been picked. So it's a very viable choice for Dignitas if they want to go for a hero, if they want to go for a jungler. And there's the Brewmaster. So finally, a hero that Jayo's been playing forever, it seems like. We get to see him in play. He has so much control in any given teamfight situation. Just a great hero throughout the entirety of a match.
Someone told you something. They told you they told you they were going to pick that.
10
You must know
I,
seconds
something.
remaining.
I actually have 0 players in this game on my friends list.
Oh
So,
man.
5 seconds
God,
remaining.
no, I don't. I can't believe that. It's ridiculous.
I mean,
Well,
it's been too
Reserve
long.
time.
We haven't seen him in too long. It's like the test of time.
I feel like
But
I'm
we'll
being
have to see
trolled.
if Dignitas going to pick up this Nyx Assassin or go for a jungler. I think both are prime options. But if we don't see Nyx Assassin get picked or banned, that's quite the surprise. And it looks like we will not.
EG's turn to
So,
pick.
wow.
All right, they're gonna go for Sand King instead. A similar hero, but with a big ult. Obviously, that AOE ult, very nice. We saw it yesterday as well, but it wasn't from Dignitas, it was from Maus. And I think Sand King has a lot of potential with that setup stun, which was what I was questioning because you put Luna and Lena in a Trine lane. Yeah, oh god, that's also going to be tough to pronounce. But Lena's going to be able to get that Light Strike array with a Lucent Beam, but it's going to take a lot of effort because that has a lot of chance to miss because, of course, Lucent Beam is only a mini stun. And the last pickup is going to be the Anti-Mage, so a very strong carry here. Fear will be playing that, and we'll have to see how this goes for them. The Brewmaster probably going to be sent mid. I'd imagine Milk. Wait, what? Demon's playing Chen? What's happening right now?
Uh,
Oh, they
no,
switched. They
Milk is
switched.
on Chen.
They
Yeah,
switched. I swear to God, it said that. Okay, they
it probably
swapped.
did.
They swapped. I'm not crazy.
This is a very unique lineup. So they're going to try and put some farm on Undying, I suppose. Maybe put a dual lane middle. Uh, yeah, NMH, I wouldn't be too surprised if he got put middle with the Shadow Demon. I think that's going to be one of their decent options to try and
10
work with
seconds
what they've got.
remaining.
But certainly going to be an interesting game as we jump in.
Absolutely. We will jump into the game here real quick. Thank you for joining us on NYJohn. This is game 3. That's right, the last game of the night between EG and Dignitas. Whoever wins this goes on to be the king of the hill. And that's going to be a big thing that we have to look out for. But right now, jumping into the game, on the side of EG, Demon will be up on that Undying. Milk again on the Chen. That's the third game in a row for him. Fear on the Anti-Mage with his nice little set there. Beaters will be sent mid for the time being, I should say, on that Shadow Demon. Jayo going to be in that mid lane, though, on the Brewmaster. And I believe that's everybody for the side of EG. We're going to get another pause real quick because what would be an online tournament without a pause? And Jayo says he's lagging, or, well, Dota crashed for someone, apparently. Meanwhile, on the side of Dignitas, Auri 2000 on the Luna. Snake King will be playing that tanker. We'll see how he does. Universe on the Darkseer, Tides of Time on the Lena. And finally, we're going to see Way Too Sexy on the Sand King. And we remember, Tides of Time on that Lena, that first game did not die once, despite the amount of fights that happened in a ridiculous back-and-forth affair. And we will get in the game in just a second, but it looks like an all-5-man affair right now for the side of Dignitas heading up to the top lane. Fear is not going to get caught out, though. I wouldn't
No.
imagine.
No, he won't. And this game, snaking on a hero is probably much more comfortable taking to the middle lane in that Tinker. And I was very wrong in my guess that they might try and run dual lanes. It looks like they're content with putting the Anti-Mage in the safe lane. So Tinker should do a pretty good job of getting his farm in the middle lane. That's going to be a good outlook for Dignitas. It's still going to be good for EG as well. They can get the 6 on Panda up, use the Primal Split pretty early on in the game, and really make the most out of it across the map.
Absolutely. And now Dignitas looking for some sort of initiation. Might find it on Beatas, but he's sitting pretty far back. He can see it coming as he sees Ping's coming out right now. Beatas going to head away from that fight. He's like, I'm getting out of here. I'm not going to fight that. So smartly moving away. Meanwhile, Fear is going to be up here in the top lane, and he's nowhere near the action, but he's moving a little dangerously, I should say. But he does probably have Blink up at level 1, I'd imagine, or he can get it if he needs to. So he'll be just fine. Meanwhile, everybody's heading back down mid right now for the time being on the side of Dignitas. Tides of Time sitting around the top up here, so we'll have to see how that goes for him. So, thanks for joining us again. Really appreciate it. I am Maut, with me is NYJohn, and in the meantime, Tides of Time going to be babysitting that DD rune, and another pause is going to come out from Universe this time, and Way 2 is apparently lagging, so stick with us. We're going to get through any sort of issues we're having. Jo also lagging, and DDoS, I doubt that.
Yeah, it says ping says WADOS is WADOS. Wade 2 is around 260 ping, so definitely not what you'd expect on a US East server, which is what I assume this is.
It is. I didn't change it in between games.
Yeah, because I have good ping, so it's US East.
And we just checked as well, and Jo also sitting at about 200 as well. So yeah, I would imagine they probably have the same ISP. I mean, I think Way 2 is from Vancouver, so I am going to say that. I know that Jo is from there. Disconnects coming out from both of those players, Jo as well as Way 2 on that Sand King. They'll be back in the game shortly, hopefully with better internet. But in the meantime, Beatas is rotating right around mid lane with, of course, Jo here as well. Sending down bot is Milk as well as Demon. It looks like Milk is going to go for an aggressive jungle strategy this time, and Fear will be up in the top lane right now solo, but that may change with Beatas rotating in there. I'm not 100% sure. We'll find out in a moment. And meanwhile, Universe is going to be in that jungle, which we talked about in the previous game, how you like to start in that jungle on the Darkseer and make sure you can get a level or two, make sure everything's going your way, and then head up to the top lane if you want to do so. Snaking will be up in the mid lane, not surprised there. Luna down in the bottom lane, of course, and Way 2 going there as well. Meanwhile, Milk's going to get spotted out here. Iron Shell is leveled up first for Universe, so no vacuum available, and Milk's just trying to right-click him. Sand King might try to go for a stun if Universe can lead him and bait him up into the high ground, but it's not going to happen. Meanwhile, Tides of Time is here. He's got a Light Strike Array available as well as DD, so he could be very frustrating to Jo right now. He's just going to deny everything, essentially. So, going to get some denies going in. If Jo comes close, he might get hit up with a right click from Lena, and that's 100 damage early on, and that could be very frustrating. That's a lot of damage if you're on that Brewmaster, so we'll have to see how that does play out.
Look at this. Lena is stealing 2 CS from Snaking. He can't be too happy about that. I mean, maybe he wasn't going to pick it up, but in the jungle, there's a back and forth between Milk and Universe. Universe is in hot pursuit, and this could be really bad for Milk.
Yeah, Milk is very far behind. He is very far behind enemy lines right now. He's going to get Iron Shot. He's trying to juke as best as possible. What are you doing, Milk? He's going to take tower damage as well. They're converging. This has to be first blood. He's going to go down, and Universe will get it. I'm not sure what he was thinking there, but that is not what he wanted. And Universe is going to take that just fine. Meanwhile, Demon's going to sit in the lane, and now NYJohn is going to continue to farm. 6 last hits for Fear, though, up in the top lane, so not a big deal. But Milk's just going to head up to the top lane, and he's going to forego any sort of jungling down into that Radiant side. So not really what he wanted to start out with, I'd imagine.
No, not at all. And giving up that first blood, especially to the Darkseer, it's going to give him that extra little boost in experience as well as gold, and be able to pick up an early soul ring, go towards the top lane and make something happen. Actually, he's going for a bottle instead. Snaking has a bottle on the courier as well. So it looks like a nice little start for Dignitas. We'll see what they can make of it. Brewmaster actually had to back up to the courier, so didn't want to risk it taking it in close, and now is going back to the middle lane with full mana and looking for a rune spawn. He gets lucky. It spawn stops, so he'll get an invisibility rune. Head back to the middle lane and continue doing what he's doing. We can see he's behind in CS by about 7 now. So a little bit of a slow start for Jo on Brew.
Absolutely, and I think part of that came in with, of course, Tides of Time coming in there with that DD rune and allowing to deny as well as take a few of Snake King's creeps there, but that's alright, and Jo a little far behind like you were talking about. Only on 3, yeah, a little rough. 10 for the side of Snake King, so he's doing okay in that regard. Meanwhile, Demon going to take some right click from Tides. He's got his Light Strike Array. It's going to fly. Demon's going to get hit up with it, but there's no follow-up as Sand King is not even close to do a follow-up stun there, and Luna not going to go there as well, but Demon is actually going to pop up his tombstone as well. Lena's going to try to get away, but now here comes Owie 2000. Demon might get a kill here, but Burrow Strike's going to fly, and Lucid Beam can fly as well. They're going to want to get this kill as much as possible, and Demon's just going to try to juke around. He's going to use his salve. Way2 actually taking a lot of damage. He's going to go down, but the tombstone doing a lot of damage to Way2 Sexy. He needs to get out. Owie 2000 is very slowed from these creeps, and he'll get a kill, but he did point into the Moonglyph just to kill both of those zombies there, and that was very close, and they did get the kill. Excuse me, Demon did get the kill on the Lena, so there goes the unkillable streak for Tides of Time on that Lena. Unfortunately, he is killed early on. Not a big deal, though. They did get the kill. I believe it was Ari 2000 picking up that kill for Demon, so a little extra farm for Luna there at level 4 right now.
Yeah, now she picks up the Tranquil Boots as well. So that was a very curious option. You had to realize that the lane was going to come in for support if you're a Demon, and giving up a kill to the carry to take down one of the supports isn't going to be the best trade you could find. Of course, early on, these offlaners are always starved for experience, so he does pick up an extra little bit of experience now sitting at level 4, which is pretty formidable. So, I mean, it's decent, but it's definitely not going to be the best trade you could look for. In fact, Snaking is actually wrapping around to stack these Ancients now. So classic tanker strategy, stack the Ancients. He has March level 3. We'll see how this works out for him as the rune spawns bottom.
And it's going to be bottled up by this Darkseer. He's going to take that. And I don't think he's going to go for a gank, but he can use it to maybe accelerate his farm. He's level 5 right now. He can move up to the top lane whenever right now. And Fear is getting essentially free farm at 29 last hits. He's a little ways ahead of Owie 2000, but of course Owie getting that kill early on Demon like you talked about. I agree. I don't think it's the best trade in the world for Demon, but he could be doing worse. He did get a kill out of it at least. Meanwhile, we're going to see a smoke gang wrapping around mid from Beatas as well as Melchior. They want to go on Snaking, but Tides is here to support with a light strike if possible. It's going to hit right up on Beatas as well as the Dragon Slave. March is going to fly off. There goes the Dark Troll Warlord and Snare, and Melk's going to have to back out now. He's taking a little bit of damage, so that will be a failed gank. However, nice try coming in from the side of EG. Very close to getting Snaking, actually. If he had not had help from Tides, might have been certainly killed there. Meanwhile, actually, Darkseer going to go for Melk right now with the surge up. Vacuum not going to fly. He's actually going to back off, realizing that he might be in too deep. And that DD is still on him, but that's going to be the end of that aggression. Still stacking now is actually Tides of Time on that Ancient stack right now. Jo trying to get some more last hits. There goes another laser onto him. He's level 5 right now, snaking up also at level 5. Last hit's going 14 for the Brewmaster, 24 for snaking. So he's having his way in terms of CS right now against the Brewmaster, but still pretty even at 5 minutes in the game. 3 kills, a lot more that was happening earlier on in the game, I think, in the previous game, at least more action anyway. So we'll have to see how this goes. Still very early to tell anything. Of course, I mean, the CS going 32 right now for Owie 2000 as well as 41 for Fear. So Fear in a nice position, almost at 2,000 gold right now, and he's playing pretty well for himself. So
yeah, as you'd expect out of Fear, really. And we'll see if he's going to actually end up picking perhaps a battle. Battle Fury has to be what we'd expect.
Yeah, absolutely. Bottom lane right now. There's going to be a light strike right with that Burrow Strike, but the zombies are coming with that Tombstone. And here comes Owie. He's going to try to take down this Tombstone as quickly as possible. The zombies keep spawning. They're being very annoying. The right click should go. 2 Tides of Time will get that extra 9 of gold. That'll be happy to have. Owie 2000 leaves the lane, of course, making sure to zone out Demon, who's going to head back home, or at least back into lane, and regen with those tangos as he is... he was very close to death there. The Owie 2000 rotated in there. He probably goes down, but that doesn't happen. So he actually is going to head back to the base, but that Tombstone's so annoying, of course, putting 2 points into it, as you can see. 1 into Soul Rip and 2 into Decay, so nice leveling there. Meanwhile, top lane, we do see Darkseer is here, going up against Fear. He does pick up the Perseverance, so you're talking about that Battle Fury. Looks like that will be the choice, and it should be a relatively quick one. I mean, if he's got that Perseverance now, he just needs the Claymore and the Broadsword, so he's got 49 last hits as well. I'm not sure what Owie's going to go in terms of farm. He's got 1,500 gold in the bank. He could pick up a Midas if he would like to. In fact, he's going to go with a Magic Wand and a Ring of Aquila, so will not go that route just yet. And it looks like he's just going to be able to provide a little bit more damage as well, which will be nice to have, but at the same time, some more farm would be good up against that Anti-Mage, who will be essentially farming the jungle like crazy once he can finish up that Battle Fury.
We see a stun on Sanking going for the illusions down bottom. And this is the point of the game where Jo is going to look to try and get involved somewhere. He does have that Primal Split available. He's about to hit level 7 too. And he can't really do all too much middle lane. You can see Snaking going to spam off the Marching Machine whenever it's available. And this early in the game, nobody can withstand standing in that. I mean, even as the game progresses, it's going to be devastating for most heroes, as once again, Tide steals a CS on the catapult.
Snaking can't be happy.
Some dirty little sneaky play from Tides here. I mean, he only has 6 CS, but he's taking most of them from Snaking. And he does have his soul ring up, so he's going to be working towards those travels now.
Bottom lane,
And
there's a big dive coming in. They're going to get a double kill with that thunderclap right on top of Aoi 2000 and Way Too Sexy. Demon was able to survive with a huge soul rip somehow. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
And the nice TP rotations coming in from Jo there, so excellent stuff. And top is actually going to get pushed out as well right now.
And it looks like they're going to back off a little bit, but probably still try and persist with this push, I'd assume.
I'd imagine so. I don't know why they
for
would...
second creep, so
Yeah.
maybe look back in after this. But there's still only one hero up here, so Universe trying to defend that. Meanwhile, looks like Snaking is ready to try and go on some of these stacks. There's 1, 2, 3, probably a 4.5, 5 stack going on at the Ancient spot.
And that'll provide him a lot of gold, maybe 1,000 enough to get those boots of travel, which would be 9 minutes, which is right around where you say you would want most of your, where you want to get your boots of travel, excuse me. And he's even getting a regen rune, which will help him out a lot more. He's going to keep using those march machines that should be able to finish off a few more here. He's sitting at 1,500. Won't be enough, I don't think, maybe for, he's actually going to miss all of them there, unfortunately. He's not hitting any of them. Oh, there he goes.
He's catching them now, and it's going to be enough once he kills off the big dragon and this big Stegosaurus or whatever it may be, the Thunder Lizard. It's going to be enough for actually picking up his boots.
Meanwhile, though, they're going to try to smoke in and maybe go for a kill here. They know he's here. He needs to buy those boots to travel up. Okay, he did. He bought the recipe up right before they were coming for that smoke again. In fact, they're wrapping around right now. As you can see, Betas and Milk on the high ground. Dragon Slip just being used for Lina right there. So Tides is here. There's 3 here if you count Jo, but he's backing off for the time being. And they could wrap around and maybe go for a kill on Universe here, but he does have 2 points in a surge. We'll have to see. No, it looks like they're going to back off. So another smoke gank used, but nothing coming of it right now. Want to check the graphs real quick as we keep going here. 1,000 experience now going for EG. They've got that, but 500 gold now on the side of Dignitas. Still very close, obviously. No towers taken just yet. The CS battle is 6 going. I mean, the difference is 6 right now. Aoi 2000 down by 6, of course. In Fear is just doing really well. He's going to have a Battle Fury very soon. He has the Claymore in his stash right now. Just needs the Broadsword. What's flying out on this courier? It looks like it is a buckler as well as a headdress, which is going to Milk, who is on that Chen once again. Does he ever get tired of playing that hero?
I mean, I'd imagine you have to at some point. I played Chen a fair amount in my time, and it certainly does get redundant game in, game out. This time we see a much more passive EG. They haven't been looking to really press anything in terms of this top lane. They had 1 or 2 slight attempts towards the tower, but you can see the tower for Dignitas still standing over half HP. Darkseer also working towards his own mech, looking to try and get that up in a reasonable and timely fashion. Snaking rotating up here, though. They're going to try and take down some of these stacks that have accrued in the jungle of EG. And it's going to be a nice little addition to farm to Snaking. And a lot of people need to recognize that when you're playing Tinker, the timing to really get involved in a meaningful and big way, it revolves around picking up that 3rd item. You have the Soul Ring, you have the Boots of Travel, but you need either the Blink Dagger or the Force Staff to really be able to go with an aggressive outlook into a lot of these gank opportunities or even pushing opportunities.
Absolutely. I mean, you can't TP into a location and expect to just be able to, you know, split push scot-free and get out without any sort of escape mechanism. Meanwhile, very low tower TP rotation from Jo. He's got his Primal Split available, but not going to use it. They're going to deny the tower just fine unless the Catapult can get it, and not going to be able to do so, so will be denied. First tower gone for the game. Jo's going to deny that one. Top lane, Universe is here, sitting at level 8 right now. Iron Shell maxed, only 3, or 1 vacuum, excuse me. Needs 3 more for that, and then Wall of Replica will be the next skill after that, and that's what we need to watch out for, is that wall. It's very important. Snaking, like we talked about, needs that next big item. He does go for the Staff of Wizardry, so I imagine it's going to be that Force Staff, give him that mobility, let him move around, make sure he can split push effectively.
And the Force Staff a lot safer than picking up the Blink Dagger, just because, of course, you could set the Blink Dagger off. And even so, you can go for the Blink Dagger later on in the game on top of the Force Staff if you'd like. But that's going to be a really big pickup for him. Once he's able to get that, then perhaps they can start trying to take full control across the map, maybe even try and go and contest the Farm of Fear, which to this point has been unrivaled. I mean, he's sitting at 88 CS, top of the charts. He has his Perseverance. He's going to have this Battle Fury in a moment, as you see the Claymore and Broadsword are on the courier coming out to him, and his farm is going to start to really amp up, and it's going to be a big catalyst for him. Of course, losing those stacks in the jungle is a slight loss, but he'll be able to recover.
I mean, he's anti-mage. He can just jump around wherever he wants and farm whatever he wants. So at this point, Fear is in a very good position. He doesn't have boots yet, actually, but he doesn't really need them just yet. He's going to continue to keep farming, pick up those boots when he can, which is in 200 gold, and then he'll be fine. He does still need a lot more items. It's like this little progression with that anti-mage. You get those treads up, you can fight a little bit, and you get that Yasha up, okay, let's fight even more. You get that Manta up, that's when you really want to start going, I think, and maybe even more if you want to really be good. But there's going to be a laser on Fear, he'll back off. There's some aggression coming in from 3 heroes here. Tides has rotated in as well. Coming up is way too sexy right now. Other than that, though, 2 mid right now for the side of EG. They've got the Tranquils up on Undying. He had a cloak as well on the Courier. Jo got Arcanes, not a whole lot else, but he's going to be saving up for that Blink Dagger, which he's very close to. Boots travel, TP coming in from snaking up in the top lane. They're going to continue to push this as 3. 3 here for the side of EG, but TP rotations could fly very soon. Beat is in, of course, the jungle, so he'll be able to spot everything out here, what's happening, what's going on, essentially. And coming up is the anti-mage. Fear wants to maybe get involved. Still no boots, but he does have, of course, that damage from the Battle Fury as well as the poor man's shield, providing a little bit of agility as well. Maybe thinking about going on him as they see him in the jungle right there, and heat-seeking missiles are going to fly off, doing quite a bit of damage to Beat as well as Milk right now. And now everybody's roaming up here. Only Jo remains down in the mid lane right now. All 5 for Dignitas. They want to try pushing this, and I don't blame them up against that pushing power that was so strong in the previous games. Now they're going to try to take hold of this game, but it looks like there will be a TP from snaking back in and regen up a little bit, then refresh and get back into the fight. Or the fray, if you will. Still, now Fear is actually going to have some room in the bottom lane to continue to farm. Boots on the Courier flying to him right now. TP coming in. They're looking to go on Demon right now, who does pop his Tombstone. They're going to back off. They don't want to necessarily dive too much. Jo is here. He's going to blink in. There's going to be the Thunderclap, the Primal Split as well. Way 2 going to get mech'd up. He could be in some trouble. However, Way 2 will go down, Undying getting the kill. Meanwhile, Beat is going to get killed by IO2000 on the backside. And this Primal Split only going to last long for another, like, 3 seconds, essentially. Tide's going to get up with that rock, doing a lot of damage. And Tides won't back go down. Demon, very, very tanky there, and a 2-for-1, essentially. Snake King should get out, but he wants the kill on Demon first, and he's going to get it. He actually canceled his TP for it. Now Aui's here as well, so 2-for-2 trade, but they also could necessarily get the tower if they want to, but Jo's still here, very tanky, and another TP, this time coming in from Beat is looking for a disruption. Demonic Purge on Aui now. He's in some trouble. He needs to get out. He's going to use his Eclipse, however. Jo taking a lot of damage, but the creeps are coming in as well. Aui2000 very low in health. Jo going to try to right-click him down. Aui2000 as well. They'll kill each other right at the same time, but Beat is getting that kill. So, Snake King's coming back in. He's going to get 1 kill and another maybe on Milk if he can get it. 1 more right click, maybe 2 perhaps. Milk trying to get out. 1 more right click should do the job there, and it does. So Snake King with a double kill. Nice job there. We talk about how comfortable Snake King is, and that's how comfortable he is. Able to get a double kill right after back in. Nice job from Snake King there.
Big plays from Snake King, and to cancel that TP, perhaps a little bit early on the TP initially anyway, but cancels it, takes off Demon on the Undying, and then comes right back in and just does some cleanup work, taking down the rest of the EG side. And now it looks like Dignitas are feeling very comfortable where they stand right now. Middle lane Fear is going to be contested by Snake King. It pushes him back a little bit as he drops down below half health. And Fear's farm is very good, but Tinker, of course, is going to scale so well with levels as he progresses, and also 1,400 more gold in the bank. If he can get towards something like a Sheep, that's going to be very instrumental and beneficial towards the success of Dignitas, and as they try and take down this tier 1 in the middle lane pretty easily.
Yeah, they will do that. And in fact, Aui's going to get the kill there, going to provide him more farm. He's going to go for that Manta style first. He'll be able to get that as soon as that Yasha is finished up, which should be relatively soon. He already has that Blade of Alacrity. He just needs the recipe and the Band of Velvet skin. Meanwhile, they're maybe thinking about going for the tier 2. Demon and Beatas are here, but already they're going to get hit up with those rockets. And Beatas goes to like half health. He's at 682 HP. He's got no bracers. The heat-seeking missiles maxed out, do 325. So, I mean, that's just too much. Meanwhile, Way 2 is going to disconnect from the game. We should see a pause here. There it goes. And man, this has been a good game so far. I mean, 7-6 before we do anything else. I want to check out the grabs. Experience now at 1,000, going for the side of Dignitas. Gold at 4,000, so they're doing very well for themselves. However, Fear could reach a pretty big point pretty soon. I mean, he's got his treads now, so we'll have to see if he can get there.
Yeah, and it's going to be very important for Fear in the next 10 minutes or so to acquire that Manta and really get going, because he can get involved with just a Battle Fury. However, it's not going to be as impactful as it would be if he can get the second item, as you would of course expect. And I think they're pretty well equipped to handle him without the Manta where they stand right now. I mean, there's a whole lot of damage coming out from Dignitas. Even the support heroes Alina and the Sand King, heroes that are known for their burst damage in the middle of these team fights. And we saw in the top team fight, even with the ultimate coming out from Jo, they still struggled a little bit. So EG have to be a little bit careful, but Anti-Mage is probably going to be able to outfarm if we go to the late game and everything's held for even. Luna and Animage, I think Animage is the harder carry, so they're going to have to try and extend this game.
Absolutely, that's definitely true. But the one thing we have to always keep in mind is that there's that wild card with Universe playing that Darkseer. I mean, that Wall of Replica now available. I mean, I talk about it a lot, but that's just my love of Darkseer. If there's any one hero I love playing, it's Darkseer. And you're going to say, well, I mean, he's a really easy hero and he's broken and all that stuff. And yes, that's sort of true, I think, to a certain extent, but I just think that it's really enjoyable to see a really well-placed wall with a nice vacuum on top of it. He does require levels. I mean, they didn't really do anything to shut him down. Obviously, you're not really supposed to. I mean, he was in the jungle and then he went up to the top lane. You can't really do anything about that. So, but still, they have that wall that's going to provide a lot of damage as well as just, you know, big team fights as well. The good thing is that the Brewmaster ult will also be helpful for the side of EG, and I think that's a nice pickup for them. And NYJohn has his blank down and 1,300 gold in the bank, and Fear was trying to pressure the tower down to the bottom lane, but snaking is everywhere, of course, just pushing everything back, which gives him more money. I mean, he's got an ultimate orb right now, so like you were talking about, getting that Scythe of Vise, if he can get that, which he's on his way to doing so, he'll be in a good position. And now in the top lane, Dignitas is going to smoke up, and they're looking for somebody. They might find Milk. They know that he's here right now. Well, maybe not.
Yeah.
We'll take that stack.
And that's a good point, of course, the Darkseer wall, as well as the Tinker coming into factor. I mean, if we look at it at a grand scheme, I think Dignitas are well poised to try and take an advantage at this stage of the game, 18 minutes in. If they can assert themselves, get some extra map control, they can go for the Roche right now, which would be really huge for them. However, they have to be careful in doing so, because with 5 alive from EG, of course, they can make a big contest out of it. In fact, they're going to smoke up. Maybe look to try and jump on someone here down towards the bottom lane. Fear is down here pretty much baiting out aggression from Dignitas. This could be a huge play.
Oh, absolutely. Fear is going to be going right into these woods right now. Should be gone. Darkseer's looking for him, but maybe right on the backside. They might see them coming through here. NYJohn is coming up right now, and oh, this could be bad if NYJohn jumps on top of Tides. He's going to do so. Tides going to take a lot of damage. There's the split. Tides goes down instantaneously, and now I don't know if they can fight. TP going to come out, but the Void's going to stun Universe. He's in some trouble. He needs to surge away. He's going to get put up in the air by that Air Panda. Universe is going to surge himself out, but the Demonic Purge flying as well. Universe is going to go down. Great gank coming out from the side of EG. It's exactly what they needed.
Yeah, well calculated smoke gank, and now they can go for the Roche. So there was a little bit of fear. Whenever you're against the Tinker, he has a lot of map presence, a lot of map control, and now they're able to counteract that to a good extent to open up an opportunity for the Roche, but the buyback is going to stop them from doing so.
Yeah.
So useful buyback from Universe, and it was necessary. As we do see, he has picked up his ultimate orb on his way to probably going for a Scythe of Vice, which is going to be a nice little handy pickup for him. If they can get up multiple Scythe of Vices, they're going to be really able to just pin down this anti-mage and make it so he's not as big of a threat as EG needs him to be.
Absolutely, and meanwhile, he's actually coming right on top of Snaking here. Snaking's going to back off away. Heat-seeking missiles are going to fly, and the laser doing a lot of damage. Fear already below half-life, but he'll be fine. He's just going to run away up to the top jungle, and he'll be fine. But like you were talking about, really good buyback from Darkseer. He does have that ultimate orb, but able to buy back and make sure that that Roshan does not go to the side of EG, and that's a big play there if they get that Aegis up on Anti-Mage. We've seen what happens when Fear has an Aegis. They push and they try to push and they try to make sure that they can win those team fights and be aggressive, and they can't do so. Fear now gonna back off. He really wanted to go for some farm there, but he's still kind of low, and if he gets hit up by another laser, could be very close to death. And another heat-seeking missile is going to fly. It's only going to hit NYJohn this time, so Fear will actually back off, realizing it's coming. They're going to try to slow siege this tower. Meanwhile, on the bottom lane, Tier 2 is going to be pushed here. Going to take some damage. No glyph available, so it looks like Dignitas should be able to get this tower. No TP's coming in either, so IO2000 is going to want to get this last hit. Will do so. Has his Manta as well. Has 800 gold in the bank right now. And they're looking pretty good. They've got a bunch of towers right now. Still, though, you have to worry and be concerned about that Anti-Mage. He's sitting at 9,000 net worth right now. In fact, he's leading the way, except for, of course, Snake King, who's doing so well. He has enough for Mystic Staff right now. And, of course, once he gets that, then it's just 800 gold for that Void Stone. And boom, you've got a Scythe of Vise, which, you know, really turns the tides of some fights.
Yeah, that's going to be probably the biggest pickup of any individual hero in this entire game. Once Snake King gets that up, and they're being very safe. They haven't gone for any engagements outside of their comfort zone quite yet, because they want to make sure that Snake King doesn't get set back on this early Scythe of Ice. I mean, if you look at the clock, we're inside of 22 minutes. Already has a 4-staff, travels, soul ring, bottle, and he's going to have a Scythe of Ice inside of 23 minutes probably. That's really huge for Dignitas.
And this is a great play from Dignitas. I love this. They just smoked, and they're going to go for a counter gank after they left the Roshan pit. Jo might get hit up first, but he might just use his primal split. Vacuum will miss. Stun's going to come out. Disruption defensively nice from Dignitas. They're going to keep going. There's going to be the Eclipse. Jo's going to use the split before he goes down. Fear's on the backside right now. A lot of damage going out. A lot of mana lost here. Snakey needs to go back home and get his mana regen happening. No epicenter just yet. He's got his blink dagger. Way 2 can use it, but I think he's waiting for that primal split to end. Meanwhile, Universe in some trouble. Can surge away. He's taking a lot of damage. Here comes Fear. The vacuum not going to happen, but he will put up the wall before he does go down. Jo very low though. Hand of God going to fly. Disjoints the heat-seeking missiles as you saw. Darkseer's still down though in that vacuum though. They can't. It was a nice try for that gank, but a very good kill for Fear to come in there and just take care of Universe and make sure that he couldn't get that vacuum off before he went down. That would have been maybe, I think, a fight changer there. And meanwhile, Fear's sitting at 187 last hits right now, and he's got his Yasha too, so.
Yeah, and that's a pretty big swing. I mean, Universe had to buy back to stop them from going for the Roshan last time. Now he dies in this fight, and he was doing really well in this game. I mean, he has 90 CS. A lot of it's jungle CS, so it's a little bit inflated. But nonetheless, it would have been huge for them to be able to get a sight device just around the same timing that Snake King is going to get his, because once you're able to double up on those, if we look at EG, their lockdown pales in comparison. They don't have anyone anywhere near a sight device, let alone Yules, a Force Staff, or anything along those lines. All they really have is the disruption to try and save off Fear for a little while, or even Jo at that, for that matter. And but with 2 sight devices, they can always chain it off on the second after the disruption's already used.
Absolutely, and that's going to be important if they get that lockdown. You mentioned the fact that there's not a whole lot of lockdown on the side of EG. You're absolutely right. The disruption is nice to have, but that's about it. I mean, everything else not really super useful in lockdown terms. And you think about the gold graph right now, it's pretty important to look at. 7,500 right now for Dignitas, and still climbing just a little bit. So if they get those items on those supports like they had in the first game, they'll be able to be in a position where they could lock down not only the anti-mage for quite a period of time, maybe get Jo before he tries to ult. He's going for an Aghanim Scepter. As you can see, he's got a point booster already, which will make it very difficult to get him or kill him after he uses that primal split, because of course it is going to be a duration of 26 seconds with that scepter at its last level there. So if they can get the lockdown even on Jo, maybe even Milk sometimes, but definitely Anti-Mage and Fear, they'll be in a very good position. However, that's still a little ways away, at least for a Universe. Snaking should have picked it up by now. If not, he had. Yep, there it is. It's on him right now, and 700 extra gold as well. So Snaking quickly starting to become really just absolutely tanky, and just has so many items at this point. Looking at his level, he's only behind Anti-Mage in levels right now, so he's doing very well for himself, and Snaking coming through in a big way right now, but at the same time, you gotta watch out for Fear, and we keep saying this. He's looking very good. Mantis Style finished up for him, and his Battle Fury obviously as well. Now he's just jumping around the jungle, doing what Anti-Mage does best, and farming away like it's his job, because it is, so.
It's going to be tough for them to push any of these lanes, though, as long as Tinker's alive. So EG have to look for an opportunity to try and pick off Tinker.
And Demon might go down here. In fact, will do so. And now Beat is going to get hexed up. He should be the next to fall. Will do so as well. Luna getting that kill. 2 big pickoffs. Nice pressure coming in from Dignitas. They're going to try to go for a tier 3 glyph available. Jo's got to split up and might be able to defend this. Wall replica should be available in the vacuum, so not a whole lot of lockdown anymore for Universe. So there's going to be the jump in, the split, as well as the Thunderclap. They're going to back off now. TP coming in. Buyback from Demon now. And what else is going to happen here? Here comes Fear going on Snaking. There's the wall. Vacuum only on Demon. This is pretty much everybody else. Air up on Universe. There goes the Laguna Blade on Fear. He's going to get Hand of God. Epicenter going as well. A big one. Fear might fall. He does. And he doesn't have a buyback. And there goes the Eclipse as well. Right now hitting up on Demon. Hitting up on all of the zombies. But Demon taking quite a bit of damage. Loosen Beam. Luna will get the kill. And now there goes the Tombstone. And a big pickup. 2 of those heroes as well. Very nice job from Dignitas. It looked bad. But here comes Snaking again. Going to keep chasing. Going to look for Beat. Is now going to do a lot of damage. Not enough though. And here comes Way 2, the stun coming in on Milk, going to send back. Beat is just in time, but Milk's going to die for it, it looks like, or maybe not. He's not going to die, but Jo is the next person to be focusing. Oh, he could have got the slow there. And in fact, Jo is actually going to get the kill on Way 2. Now they focus the tier 3 fortification flying out. Long fight, but that's okay. I mean, this fight has been going on for a while now, but this tier 3 falling slowly. Here comes Beat is back, full health again. Tier 3 is going to go down. Rax is next, of course. Anti-Mage down up for another 18. Jo's going to try to come back in as well. No split for him, at least not for another 94 seconds. Still doesn't have that Aghanim set for taking more damage. And now they're going to back off, realizing that Demon is up. At least Light Striker Raid's going to hit, but here comes Jo, going to try to use his Drunken Haze. Ow, he's slowed. He's going to get out, though. TP coming in from Snaking. Now they're going to try to fight this. Loosen Beam flying as well. Hextech should be available. I mean, he's got a refresher, so obviously it is. And Jo is going to just back off right now, and that's going to be the end of the engagement. And I think despite Dignitas doing very well for themselves, they could have maybe got a lot more there.
That was just a huge fight for Way 2. I mean, coming in with that epicenter, that really stopped NMH. NMH before that sitting pretty comfortably around 75% health in pursuit of an empty mana pool on Tinker, and really could have taken down Snaking there. And Snaking is the catalyst for all the success, but Way 2 definitely saving his carry in that regard. And EG do salvage the racks. They make it out of there with them both intact, and it's still a good amount of health on them as well, but you just feel like things are starting to build up against their favor. Dignitas looking so solid, and the team fights are scattered, but that's the way Dignitas want them right now. They don't mind. Even with the wall missing, not hitting on top of Fear, they still had that team fight go decisively in their favor.
Oh, absolutely, and I think that's such a good portion of this team fight for Dignitas right now is that scattered mentality, because Snaking can get out and get back in a fight at like full health and just be just as effective as he was when he entered the fight. So that's one thing that you have to keep in mind. I think it's really just Snaking's playing out of his mind on this Tinker, but at the same time, you talked about Way 2 and his epicenter, and yeah, I mean, that absolutely did enough damage just to bring Fear down barely. He did go down, and it was at a critical moment as well. If Fear doesn't go down there, he probably gets a kill, maybe a few more kills, maybe it's enough for buyback even at that point, and they turn that fight around, or something along those lines. But that was a big epicenter, a big play to be sure from Way 2, who, by the way, is having ping issues currently. I actually want to check that real quick and see if he's still having them.
Yeah, and Snaking also picks up an ultimate orb, so going to be working towards either a Lincoln, which would make sense, or even a Manta style, which occasionally we see some Tinkers go just to assist out their pushing aspects, while Dignitas are going to go all in on this Roshan here, and Fear is nowhere near. He's got a DD, he's trying to push in the tier 2 top. This is going to be a free Rosh.
Yeah, and they're going to trade the tier 2 core, but I don't think they're that concerned about it. They might TP in to try to stop Fear from going into the tier 3, which he can do so. It'd be tough to take at this point, but Dignitas is getting that free Rosh like you talked about. Equal Song up for that Luna, allowing him to get that butterfly relatively soon. He's also got a lot of money in the bank too, so he'll have that. And now 2000 farming now just as fast almost as Fear. Of course, Fear with a lot more CS, but of course the kills are going the side of AUI 2000. He's got 5-2 and 5. Fear sitting at 1-1 and 1. So the kills giving a little bit of money to AUI 2000 right now, providing him a little bit more gold, getting him closer to that butterfly, which is going to be super nice to have, especially against Fear and that amount of damage that he pumps out. So have to keep that in mind. 15,000 gold net worth on the Tinker, 14,000 for the Anti-Mage, and 13,000, of course, for the Luna. And this is the big discrepancy, 8,500 for Jo. So that mid lane, I mean, Brewmaster's really good, and he's great at disrupting team fights, but Tinker able to get that much farm is going to help out so much just because he's got that scythe, and even if he goes for that Manta style or something else, that's such a big component of that team, I think, right now.
Yeah, I think the primary problem is that you had an off-lane Undying, and he managed decently, but what was the end goal of having that Undying? Right now his inventory is empty. He has a point booster as well as a cloak and a stout shield. I mean, it just doesn't seem like he serves a grand purpose. He can throw down a tombstone in the middle of a fight, but at this stage of the game, tombstone's going to do next to nothing since it can be focused down by Luna in a couple of hits. So if they had picked a hero, I'm not sure, I don't remember exactly what the bans were, but if you imagine Beastmaster wasn't part of this game, which is an obvious reason why they didn't pick him, but even something along the lines of a Tidehunter in that off-lane capacity, he certainly seems to have a better utility in the grand scheme of things. So I'm a little bit curious why they went with that Undying pick. I know it's because Undying is one of the top tier heroes, but not in this capacity.
Absolutely. I totally agree with you there. I mean, you think about Undying in an off-lane role, you're not really using it. We talked about using him in a tri-lane, an aggressive tri-lane, be aggressive, do damage, decay spam, get everything going your way. I mean, he got an early kill, and he did okay, like you said, but at the same time, it's not like he was helping his carry get super farm with, you know, a ton of kills. I think a Tidehunter would have been a lot better in that capacity. It's not like they needed to pick up the Undying because, you know, Dignitas was going to get it. They had the second pick. So, meanwhile, big fight going to break out here. There's the Primal Split, as well as the Thunderclap coming in from Jo right now. Meanwhile, Snaking on the backside going to get a kill. Here's the Eclipse from AUI 2000. He's going to immediately kill a Demon right now. Fear's coming in. There's going to be that wall of Replica, and Fear taking a lot of damage from his own illusion right now. Universe also taking some damage. Looking for Fear. That BKB is finished. It's a 10-second one. Now it's gone. As you can see, up in the air is Snaking. Way 2 taking some damage. Meanwhile, so are the Earth Panda needs to get out of there. He's going to be at pretty much full health. He will get hexed up immediately, though. That illusion doing so much damage, though, with that wall. Universe going to get that kill from it, and Milk's going to go down as well. Demon did buy back, it seems. And this is going to be Rax at least, I think. Anti-Mage is going to regen up and maybe try to fight again, but he doesn't have a BKB charge. IE2000 looking for the Raxes. He's getting both of them very soon. He has that butterfly finished up like we talked about. This could be close. If they take this Rax, this could be big. Tide's going to get decayed up. He's going to get killed as well. Fear not going to go on IE2000. Fear trying to take him down, but the Hex up on Fear and the Epicenter. Snake King is playing out of control, and IE2000 is getting another kill. And that's Rax and a team wipe, and GG is called. Dignitas is the first king of the hill for NYJohn's killing spree in a great game. 18-11 to score, 31 minutes into the game. What a great game this was.
Yeah, it was a fantastic game, and great to see Snake King respond after having a pretty poor effort last game. I mean, we mentioned he wasn't put in the best of circumstances, having to solo mid on the Shadow Shaman, but nonetheless, he came back and he brought us a game this time around. Probably one of the top ringers in the American scene, if not one of the top unsigned players, and really is showing his value in this game in particular with that Tinker. And congratulations to Dignitas. I think it's a well-deserved King of the Hill spot, and we'll see who can try and contest their ownership of that position. What's really nice about this format is that it's best of 3, so there's no gimmicky plays. You need to win a whole series to actually take control.
Absolutely, and I'm so excited to go forward and see how long Dignitas can get up on this this pedestal and stay here. I mean, they did beat EG, and EG, you know, a lot of people were favoring them early on, and I said, yes, EG is definitely a very good team going in here, and it'd be tough for Dignitas to win, but even with Snake King, they turned it around somehow. They got the fights that they wanted. They had the Darkseer, of course, which was so great in the end, and I gotta say, this was a bunch of great games here today. Of course, John and I have been casting since about, 1 o'clock this afternoon, so I appreciate you guys joining us. If you watched the earlier stream on the other channel, thanks for joining us for the entire day. You guys are great. You're fantastic. I really appreciate you joining us. Please follow NYJohn here on this channel. We've got a ton of great stuff coming up for you. Of course, Mad is always nice to have, so check that out, as well as NYJohn.com, youtube.com/NYJohn2, and twitter.com/NYJohn2. If you want to follow me, you can follow me at twitter.com/MautDota2 and twitch.tv/MautDota2. I am Maut, of course. And with me tonight is John. Where can they find you, my friend?
You can check me out on Twitter at NYJohnTV, also twitch.tv/NYJohnTV. And thank you for having me. It's been a great set of games, as you just said, and really exciting plays from some of these top-tier teams today.
Absolutely, and we'll be bringing you more Killing Spree action on Wednesday. I believe at 7 o'clock we have, well, we're not exactly sure what the schedule is just yet, so I don't want to announce it too early. So we'll see what happens as the week goes along, but thanks for joining us tonight. I really appreciate it. Remember, you guys are great for joining us. I know we had some great games today, so have a good night, everybody. I'll see y'all later.